Hello, Facebook family. Jessica Payne here. Welcome to Jessica Payne Live. If you are watching me live, thank you. I'm on my mobile device today, just switching it up a little bit. Hopefully you can hear me and I'm alive and well in terms of your screens. If you guys are watching me on the replay, thanks a million. And if you're catching me on YouTube or the podcast, please subscribe. I'm going to wing it today. We're only going to be here for a little bit. Hey, RJ, how's it going? I switched to my mobile because Be Live is down. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a 5-step process I'm going to walk you through. And this is something I talked about last year, and I'm speaking at a conference this week, and I realized, you know what, I haven't actually talked about it in a while. So today I thought I'd ask you to put your social media strategy hat on, and we're going to talk about how to inspire action in 5 simple steps. And this is the same process I created a couple years ago. It's the same one I use when I help my clients give them a framework and draw a clear circle around every second they spend on social media. Because what I hear a lot from people are they're frustrated, they feel like they're spending a ton of amount of time on social media and not necessarily getting the results. So RJ, let me know, does that jive with you? Have you been there? So what I'm going to do today, and because I'm on my phone, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps and some tips. But if you want to actually see, I do have an ebook for it. So leave a comment and just shoot me a quick note, or if you want, you can DM me. Let me know you want the ebook and I'll send it to you. We won't worry about email addresses today or anything like that. But just so you know, if you want a physical thing to look at and rewatch this live, maybe you're listening to me on the podcast and you actually want to see and you want to work through this, just reach out any of my social media channels and let me know, and I'll send you a copy of it. It's a PDF. Cool. Teresa, how's it going? You're saying been there, done that. I'm glad we can talk about it today. This definitely jives with what we've been talking about. So first and foremost, when it comes to social media, the first thing I always tell my clients is like, I've been there. Let's get you to put purpose behind every second you spend on social media so you can start to generate the results you want. And basically what it all comes down to is you have a goal for your business, your practice, whatever it is you're spending your time on social media trying to do. So the first thing I want you to think about is like that objective and write it down. So, and specifically about the impact you want to make. So an example could be maybe you're holding a fundraiser this holiday and the impact you want to make is you want to raise money for your organization. Fine. So think about that in terms of what your objective is. You want to raise money for your organization, and think about how social media can actually help you do it. I always say social media is not a magic wand. Social media is not going to do this thing, but it can help you signal boost everything you're doing so that you can accomplish that goal. Does that make sense? So take a minute, grab a pencil, a paper, or maybe write it on your phone or something. Jot down, think about the objective you want to reach in terms of the impact. Maybe you want to raise funds. Maybe you want to get attendees to show up at a rally you're hosting. Maybe you have a new product you're launching. Maybe your objective is you want to enroll students in your course. So take a minute, write that down, and I'll help you guys kind of work through this. The secret to this 5-step strategy is we actually work through it backwards. So it's almost cool that I'm not showing you anything because I just want you to think conceptually of it. Impact is the 5th stage. And rather than explain one way or the other, I actually have you start with your impact because chances are that's what you're fixated on at the moment. That's the goal you want to accomplish. Hey David, how's it going? Look who's live. I know I've taken a few weeks off. It's a thing called vacation. I don't know. And I tried to jump on Be Live. It's just not working today. So we are doing the mobile device. So if my webcam is a little shaky, that's because I'm holding it up. I do have a tripod, but in my rush to get to you guys, I didn't grab it. Teresa, I want to teach people how to use play as a learning and skill building exercise. Awesome. You guys know that Teresa is a teacher. I'm just flipping over to my deck to make sure that I talk about a few things. Okay, so why did I have you guys start with impact? Well, obviously it's probably what you're fixated on. But in terms of translating this to how the heck do we wrap a social media strategy around this, I want you to start to think about what's going to motivate people to actually do what you want them to do. There's no perfect content out there. There's no perfect call to action. But I think with a combination of a few of these things, you can actually motivate them to do what you want them to do. Sure, you can throw out a ton of ads. That's not part of this conversation. That can certainly boost the reach. But again, social media is no magic wand, but if you combine a few things, you can actually motivate and get people to do what you want them to do. So maybe let's spend a minute or two and talk about this whole crazy thing called value, and what do people value right now on social media? Because you and I both know it's a mixed bag. We have a love-hate relationship with it. If I didn't use this place for business, I don't know if I'd be on here as much. And that's saying something. But every other day I come back and I'm just in awe of how people use social media, and I love using it, and I love talking to you guys, right? So think about value. So what is of value to your audience? And this is important if you think about, okay, well, if I need to get to this impact and I need to motivate people to do stuff, I need to come from a place of actually giving them something of value. So let me just rattle off a few short lists of things that might be of value to your audience. So things like information, resources, maybe it's access to someone, access to a CEO, access to a celebrity. You know, that's a big deal. That's why celebrity partnerships work. Maybe it's help. Maybe it's you're providing a community for someone for the first time. You know, what is the value? So think beyond just your goal and think, how can you come from a place of value to actually inspire, instill trust, motivate people to actually listen to you and to do what you want them to do. So again, I come to a place, like every time I jump on my show, I obviously have an objective. I have a business to run, but ideally these live streams are of value. I hope the feedback you've given me is you like the information. So that's where I always like to start from a place of, hey, Alfredo, how's it going? Giving value to the audience. Yes. So Alfredo, we're going through this exercise, this 5-step exercise. If you're just joining us, jot down a goal you have for your organization. And the impact you want to make. And we were talking about goals like maybe fundraising, attendance, maybe you're hosting an event, you want to get RSVPs, maybe you just want to raise your profile on social media, whatever it is you want to do. David says, plan with the end in mind. You want to make money is not a goal. You want to make 5 figures is not a goal. You want to make $10 a month, that's a goal. Now you have a dollar figure in mind, so now you can do it. Exactly. So when it comes to the impact, you guys, let's take a page out of David's book and get really specific. If you want to fundraise, what's your target? Maybe you want to enroll. Maybe you want to raise $5,000 by September 1st. Be as specific as possible. All right. So we're actually at the 5th step of the impact. So when it comes to impact, now that you have an idea maybe of what you want to do, maybe you're still thinking about your goal. Again, you're coming to it from a place of value, thinking about things like what can you offer almost in exchange for their trust and for their time. I'm just flipping forward to my thing here. So after impact, I want you to think about, okay, now that you're coming from a place of value, what is your call to action? All right, call to action. It's what you're actually going to command or communicate in your social media content to get them to do what you want them to do. And again, we're reverse engineering this whole 5-step process. So we're actually already in the weeds. So your impact. So let's say you want to fundraise, or you want to drive attendance. Your call to action is probably going to be something very specific, like go to this website and have a link. But what is your call to action going to be? And can you think of it from a place of, rather than just telling people what to do, maybe making it a little bit more narrative, like to become a mental health advocate in your community, visit www.x and sign up is an example call to action. It's very specific, clear instructions. You have a link, and then I added a little bit of a narrative, an empowering message on top, which is actually the next step back. So, okay, now again, you've got your impact, your goal. What is the call to action that you want to do? These are specific instructions, often accompanied with a link. This is critical in social media. By including a link and a call to action, you can boost the actual clicks on your Facebook post by like 285%. You'd be surprised at how many people forget to include a call to action. So again, your impact, what do you want people to do? What are they going to have to do? Are they going to have to go to a website? Are they going to have to hit the donate button? Be as specific as possible and write that down. What I'm helping you do now, ideally, is you're going to start to draft your social media post or your tweet. So I want you to start to think about that. David says he talks about these exact steps as well. Great going, Jessica. Thanks, David. Appreciate that. Appreciate the kudos. Yeah, it's sort of like, let's make this as easy as possible for people, because I think you see like social media strategy and it's like, people don't know what that is. And I find it's like, people don't really want to take the time to even know what that is or understand it. So that's what really came about when I created this 5-step process. I kept having the same conversation all the time. And I'm like, I need to make this super simple because people are falling asleep. And my job is to be a social media expert. Your job is not. Your job is to run your business, right? So that's where these 5 steps came from. All right, so we've talked about impact. Ideally, you're coming from a place of value. You've written your call to action. Toss any out in the comments, you guys, and I'll read them if you want. Thanks for the thumbs up, David. Alfredo, you're saying, our call to action today for Connect 104, Tuesday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Inglewood, is to stay out of the heat by visiting our air-conditioned church. Alfredo, that's like the perfect example. So you guys, if you're in the LA area, we have a heat advisory today. Could even be a heat warning. I don't know what the levels are like. But Alfredo, so he runs a church, Southside Christian in Inglewood. It's on the other side of LA from me. This is perfect. So in LA, when we have a heat advisory, a lot of public places, libraries, places of worship, even malls and stuff, they remind people that they call them cooling centers. It's where the elderly, homeless, just people who are overheated can come in and cool off. So Alfredo, that's a perfect call to action. That's very specific for today, actually. So again, so walking back, the impact you want to make is you want to make sure that you provide a safe place for people to cool off. And it sounds like your goal is to get the word out as much as you can to drive people in. Your call to action is very specific. It has times, locations. That's perfect. Now, is there a place where people can, I would encourage you to add, is there a link where they can get more information or a phone number? That could kind of complete making that more actionable. And again, the whole idea of a social media strategy is we're trying to drive action. So coming from a place of value for Alfredo, what if someone has a question? Is there a phone number or is there a website they can link to? Or maybe they just need directions or an address. So think about that. You're almost done writing your post. That's perfect. Let's see if there are any others, and then I'll jump to the next step. How does one build a community online? I've learned that you have to create an offline relationship first. Yeah, absolutely, Alfredo. And Teresa, I think you agree with me here. Social media is not a magic wand. I think celebrities can literally just sneeze and the world will come to their live stream or do what they want them to do. But for the rest of us humans, we have to rely on good old-fashioned word of mouth first. There's nothing that beats face-to-face and hitting the bricks and just hitting the pavement and walking. So word of mouth, absolutely, Alfredo. All right, so we've talked about impact. You've written your call to action, and Alfredo, you've provided like the perfect example, I think, and I love it that it's local. And we've talked about coming from a place of value. So we're now working through these 5 steps. And again, we're working backwards because that's literally how I do it for my clients. We're reverse engineering impact. Because a lot of us struggle to reach our impact. So the easiest way to do it is actually to engineer our strategy to it. Let's just be real about what we want people to do. So the 3rd step is, all right, so we talked a little bit about it. Impact, call to action. The 3rd step, this is right in the middle of the strategy, is come to a place, connect through emotion. And this is really important, and this is my plea. The data has shown that positive emotion that empowers, inclusivity, encouragement, empowerment, especially if you're talking about marginalized populations, diversity, things like that. Messaging that's more positive converts at a greater scale on social media than any fear or negative based. I think the climate we live in now, everything is heightened and social media fatigue is real. So fear-based or negative content, it's just, while it might be entertaining and get a laugh, you're really not moving the needle. And in terms of inspiring some sort of action, that's not what I'm here for. So think about how you can connect through emotions. So Alfredo, so yours is kind of perfect. The emotion people might be feeling is maybe a little bit of fear because it's going to be a really hot day today. Maybe they are confused about where to go, what they can do. Again, you're coming to a place of value. You're providing a service they didn't even know maybe they had or needed in their local community. And here you are, you're going to be able to help people cool off, which is kind of amazing, right? Coming from a place of value. So rather than just being like, I need people to show up so they can cool off, it's like, walk your way through this social media strategy. Cool. Teresa's saying, showing what is possible. Yes, face-to-face gets awareness. It's true. It's like, that's where we have to start, you know? Social media is just a signal boost to everything you're doing offline, right? Okay, so that's the third. So connect through emotion. What emotion are you going to use in your social media post? And connect it with that value, right? So are you providing information so people are more empowered? Are you providing a service so that people are more informed, they can take action? Are you providing humor? Maybe it's just a funny piece of content that you're trying to get people to do. Maybe you're trying to get people to watch a video. Connect through emotion, and positive emotion, empowering emotion. It just converts at a greater scale. People will actually stop scrolling when something is positive. Laughter is healing. I don't know what else I have to say, but positive emotion, empowering emotion converts at a greater scale, meaning people are actually going to want to read your content if it has any sort of those types of emotions in it versus fear-based. That stuff is just boring and lazy, if you want my full opinion on that. Alfredo's saying, we also have an Instagram post for a call to action for Inglewood Southside Christian Church, Connect 104. Beautiful. So you're also promoting your other channels. I love that. Perfect. Guys, Alfredo's really rocking it here, and I love it. We got to hustle because it's already hot, and I know it's probably hot over there in Inglewood, so I can't wait to actually see this post go live today. Cool. All right, so we've talked about impact. We've talked about your call to action. We're working backwards. This is the 5-step social media strategy, how to inspire action in 5 simple steps. We've reached step 3, which is connect through emotion. The next step, now that we've kind of identified the mood, the tone, the emotion we want to convey, how we want to connect with people, is simplify your story. Now, you've probably heard that less is more when it comes to social media. So I want you to think, and Alfredo, your post is kind of perfect. I want you to think simple in terms of length. So if you have a video, keep it short. If it's a live stream, keep it short. If you have an image with a message in it, keep it really succinct. What you want to do is convey clearly your call to action. You want to convey all of this, keeping 2 things in mind. We're really busy. We're probably distracted when we come across your post, if we come across it at all. And we're probably looking at it on a mobile device. So we only have a few seconds to a few minutes to quickly understand what you're about. Simplify your story, and this can be really tough. If it helps to write a really long post and edit it down, maybe turn it into 2 or 3 posts or a tweet, that's often what I do. Just to get words on a page, it can help. So write your post, and if it's more than a couple of sentences, you really want to pare it down. Alfredo has a great example here, because yours is what, maybe technically a sentence, maybe 2? Right? And he's going to back it up with some sort of imagery. Simplify your story, positive emotion. Now, one thing we haven't talked about is that can really help you out is think visually. On social media, video outperforms imagery, like photos and graphics, and photos and graphics outperform posts that don't have any imagery. So think visually. Is there an image that can convey what you're trying to say 10 times easier? Is there a video that actually makes sense for you to shoot that's a minute or 2 long? So I spent a couple of days at YouTube not too long ago, and we talked all about video. We talked all about video content. We talked all about length. And the shorter the better. We're used to binging. So if you have a concept that kind of doesn't make sense to communicate maybe in a post, shoot a vignette or a handful of short videos and launch them all at the same time. It's the same way we watch Netflix, right? We don't watch it episode by episode now. What companies do now is they release their episodes in blocks because they know we want to binge stuff 3 episodes, 5 episodes, 6 episodes at a time. So that's a tip when it comes to simplifying your story. What if you're like, I can't get it all in one post? Maybe shoot 2 or 3 short videos with clear messages that kind of go together, release them all at once, right? Because that's how we are used to consuming content. You don't even have to tell people to binge watch now. It's like we kind of expect that to happen. So simplify your story. All right, so now we're on the 5th or first step of the strategy. So we're working back just to remind you where you're at. You've thought of your impact, you've defined your clear call to action, you're connecting through emotion, and now it's wicked simple. So maybe you're back there pruning your post or your tweet. You want to keep it as simple as possible. Again, because at the end of the day, we want to put purpose behind everything you do on social media, and you want to be as clear as possible, because the more clear you are, the more you're actually inspiring people to do what you want them to do, inspiring that action. Does that make sense? All right, so the first step, the final step, because we reverse engineered it, is own your authenticity. And I know people laugh at the A word because it's a big word, it's used quite a bit. And all I'm gonna say is real is greater than perfect. You've heard me say this before. People are looking for real brands, humans behind a brand. That's why live streams are so darn popular, is because you're actually seeing people behind a company. We're hungry for people who are flawed, who are real, who admit they make mistakes, who have a bad day, who have a great day. So when it comes to sharing your content, again, it's that value. One of the pieces of value that people are looking for is just be human. Okay, so come from a place of authenticity. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's more important to get your video out, don't worry about the set. Just get the content out. If your message is important and maybe you don't feel like you have all the pieces perfectly matched, well, if 90% of it's there, just get it out. I think people are just hungry to connect, and they're hungry to find people that share the same lived experience or they can connect with. And quite often it's seeing that other people are flawed, that have made mistakes, that are going through the same challenges we are, that resonates. And people are more likely to spend time and money with brands and organizations that they feel are human and authentic. Does that make sense? That's my speech about authenticity, because I feel like most of you guys do that. So like here, like look at my hair, like it's fine, but it's hot, so it's gonna be huge today. Like I have massive hair. I'm a little shaky on the camera because I've been holding it. I didn't have time to get my tripod because my other broadcasting tool just wasn't working. But I jumped on anyway. Like I could have just canceled my whole live stream, but like, no, it has to be perfect. But no, I just grabbed my mobile device and I did it. And so hopefully I can help you guys today, because I knew it was more important for me to connect with you guys, because I've been gone a couple weeks, than not. So there you go. There's authenticity. Right? So I guess if you want to see, so those are the 5 steps. If you want to see an example of this whole thing working together, my impact I wanted to create today was to get back on air and share this strategy with you. The impact I want to make is to remind you guys that I know how to do this stuff. If you ever need help, you can call me, or I work with some of you already. When it comes to the call to action, I let you guys know at the top, and I'll let you guys know today. If you want a physical copy of this formula, you just DM me or leave a comment. Like, I'm not going to ask for your email or whatever. I'm just going to send it to you. If you don't have it already, because you might have grabbed it last year, there's my call to action. Reach out so I can give you a copy of this 5-step formula if you want it. If not, you don't need it. Connect through emotion. I know some of you guys are frustrated with social media, so there you go. And my emotion is like, I just want to empower the heck out of you guys so that you're not spending so much time on social media. Actually, ironically, I want you guys to actually be putting purpose behind what you do. What's the next one? Simplify my story. This live's pretty much done. Oh man, I'm like right on time. So I try to keep my live streams like 30 minutes, and here we are, 8:26. This is wicked. I might even end right on time, which is perfect. Simplify the story, boil it down to those 5 steps. That's it. And then the first one, authenticity, like we've talked about it, like here I am, technical glitches this morning, but what do you want? I'm still here. That's the beautiful thing about live. Anything can happen. Cool beans? So that's the 5-step process. We actually reverse engineered it. Again, if you want a copy of it, you guys don't need to email me. Just DM me or leave a comment. I find that's what's easiest for people. And we'll find the best way to get it to you. It's literally just those 5 simple steps. But if you've written it down, you don't need it, right? Just let people know where you got it, I guess. That'd be cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shut this episode down, and I'm going to jump on Instagram, and I'm going to point them this way. If you are on Instagram, join me. There's another call to action, instagram.com/I'mJPayneBU. So I'll put that in the comments. At 8:30, I'm going to go live for 5 minutes on Instagram. I do a quick highlight reel. I won't have time to teach this whole strategy, but I might pull some points for it. But let me just see if we have any more comments for you guys. Guys, was this helpful? Was this too in the weeds? Do you even care? Do you want to learn more about social media strategy? I'm planning for the rest of the year. So let me know what you guys want to hear about, and get as specific as possible, because sometimes I know strategy is helpful, and sometimes I know you guys have very specific questions. So there's another call to action. Comment if you're comfortable doing that, or send me a message like, what do you want me to cover on Jessica Payne Live for the rest of the year? Because I'm literally putting together my production calendar. Like, what do you guys care about? Video, live streaming, crowdfunding, what? Showing what is possible. This was great. Thanks so much, Teresa. I hope it answered your question. You're rocking and rolling, and I've seen your updates. So hopefully this can kind of help. This is like advanced social media strategy, you guys. I've just boiled it down to 5 steps, but like this is the same thing I use when I put together a strategy for clients and when I try to encourage them to use it. Wow, look at the hair. The humidity, y'all, is crazy here in LA, which it's like I really shouldn't complain because we're a dry heat out here, but when it's humid, it's like we don't know what's going on. Dwayne, please send me the 5 points. You got it. No problem, Dwayne. And what you can do is I'll send you the 5 steps and then just rewatch this live and you can it's designed to help you fill it out. Yeah, no problem. And you're doing good things. I'm glad you're using it because I know you work with a lot of folks when it comes to a variety of topics. So I'm glad that you're going to be using it. Hopefully this will save you a little bit more time on social media. It'll get you a little bit more of a framework. Give you some clear focus. Use the same strategy every time you want to do something on social media. That's really what this is all about. Thanks, RJ. I'm glad it was helpful. Appreciate it. Teresa's saying this is great. I'm shifting everything and I'm going to start marking from what is possible. Yes, it's good energy. Teresa, talk to Dwayne about energy. He knows what's up. We've talked about it. Positive energy. Cool beans, you guys? All right, so give a think about what you'd like me to cover for the rest of the year. Please, please, please let me know what topic. I don't care how specific you are. I will address it. And I'd rather do that than come up with my own topics because if anything, I want to make sure we just churn out some really solid practical advice for the remainder of the year. I'm always going to talk about trends, y'all, but I want to make sure it's as of use to you. Cool beans? All right, guys, so again, I'll leave in the description, I'll leave in the comments. Let me know if you want that 5-step process, but this was just to wrap up Jessica Payne Live. I'm your host, Jessica Payne. If you're joining me late, go ahead and just replay this to get those 5 steps. And if you have any questions, let me know as you work through them. I actually would love that if any of you want to follow up with me and let me know how you're doing. Using social to get results is a great topic. Boom. It's what keeps me employed. It's what pays the bills, Teresa. I'm always happy to do that. Yeah, 'cause social media is a beast. And you have businesses to run, so let's make it as simple as possible, yeah? I mean, it's not a simple topic, but let's make it as actionable as I can. How does that sound? All right, you guys, so don't forget to subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube or listening to me on the podcast. I'm pretty much everywhere now, thanks to Anchor. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play. So hit this up, listen to me in the car on your run. I know a couple of you guys do that. Subscribe to the podcast. And then if you don't already, please, please follow me on Instagram because I'm going to be doing a lot more on that channel in coming days and weeks. So I'm actually jumping there now to do the highlight reel. But thanks, guys, for joining. Put this into practice, okay? And let me know how you guys are doing. And now we'll cover this. Maybe we'll do a step 2. And if any of you are brave souls, we can use your strategy. How's that sound? All right. If you are in LA, keep cool. It's going to be a hot day. And I'll see you guys next week. I'll fire it up and maybe we'll do a phase 2 on this, if not another topic. Otherwise, jump over to Instagram and I'll do a quick highlight reel of all of this. But thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll be back next week. Bye.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.